Never miss an episode of the Final Furlong podcast. Subscribe now on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And now, here's your host, Emmet Kennedy.
Welcome along to the Saturday weekend preview on the Final Furlong podcast, and the winning team is all here. George Gorman, we've got Peter Michael, and we've also got
Andy the Nap Newton.
That's his name from now on.
Andy the Nap Newton.
And I know he's got a 14-1 nap lined up for this week. Let's start with the feature race. It's the Dewhurst Stakes, and our beloved Zavateri bids to emulate Teofilio, New Approach, Dawn Approach, Air Force Blue, Churchill, Pinatubo, and Native Trail by completing the Group 1 Vincent O'Brien National Stakes and Darley Dewhurst Double. He's the third favourite for this race, despite the fact there's only two horses in the race who are unbeaten. Only one of them is a Group 1 winner, that's Zavateri, but Distant Storm for Charlie Appleby, who does have a great record in this race, is the favourite. Andy Newton, does that make sense to you?
No, I mean, look, on all known form, Zavateri should be the old fav here, but it's not. It's not even second favourite with some books as well. So, but that was the same sort of story over in Ireland last time. I mean, that was an unreal price. For 15-2, I think it was. Before that, 8-1. And I think we were all on it, and it was mad as a mad price. But I don't know. My worry, and look, Eve, I'm sorry. Okay, you can bash me up, do whatever. I love the horse, but I just worry that the two hard races, at Goodwood and the Curragh, and they were proper battles, weren't they? Getting up by a head and a short head, and I just wonder if it might have just left its mark a little bit. And the same really applies to Aidan's horse Gstaad. Two tough races as well, in France and Ireland last time as well. So the fresher horse, Distant Storm, I'm going to side with this one, course and distance winner. The other two sort of niggles for me with Zavateri and Gstaad is that they, neither of them are run at Newmarket. There's no reason why they won't be suited, but we do know sometimes, with the dip and everything that, it can impact a horse and everything, and we know Distant Storm is fine after dotting up last time in the Tatterstall. So the time was good there. Appleby's got a good record in this. Buick's got a good record in this. 3 of the last 6. As I say, the time was good, and just based on that and the fact they both had 2 hard races, I think Distant Storm for me looks the way to go. There's a little bit to find on the ratings, 3 or 4 pounds with those two, but Distant Storm, I think. So sorry, deserting it, Zavateri. But
how dare you, Andy Newton, express an opinion that we don't agree with? The lads might agree with you, by the way. He's buying out of Thunder. He's out of the only mare that George Washington produced on the track, the great 4-time Group 1 winner, George Washington. It's really kind of a mixture of a Coolmore and Godolphin pedigree, and he was so impressive on his debut when he and Constitution River pulled clear of a field. 9 subsequent winners in behind, not including Distant Storm. Most of those horses going on to group race success. Constitution River hasn't been seen since he won a group race, but Oxagon ran very well in the Champagne Stakes, and he's in this lineup as well. And obviously his form has been boosted by Puerto Rico winning the Prix Jean-Luc Lagardère last weekend. Distant Storm is the 9-4 favourite with 1x bet. Our betting partner, George Gorman. Do you think that makes sense? Or are you, like me, perplexed as to why Zavateri is available at 3-1? But hey, we'll take it. Thank you.
Yeah, I am a bit perplexed. I can see maybe in the logic of what Andy's saying is in that he's the fresher horse. And do explain just a bit more on what Andy was saying. He's obviously the fresher horse in that he's had less races this season and less hard races because he's actually run 11 days more recently than Gstaad or Zavateri. But that's sort of where he's coming from with that. And maybe that's factored into the prices. But look, Zavateri's just gone from strength to strength all season. There's not a rating system in the world that wouldn't have him favourite for this race. Even like on a line through Do or Do Not, he got a bit further behind him from the Kingdom of Bahrain July Stakes, the Vintage Stakes. The second in the Vintage Stakes, Morris Dancer, ran out a 4-length winner of a listed race on his next start. The 6th horse, Andab, was second in a Deauville Group 3 next time. And the 7th horse was a close second in his next 2 starts in a Group 3 and a Group 2. Dorset was 5th that day, finished 6 lengths further behind him in the National Stakes of the Curragh, and then came out and won the Goffs Million. Like, the form is stacking up all over the place. And look, if it turns out to be 1 run too many, then fair enough, but I can't let him go off that price. It's got to be Zavateri for me.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Look, if you want to take him on, fair enough. And if you don't believe it, if you think that Eve Johnson Houghton can't possibly have the best 2-year-old in training, surely Charlie Appleby, who's got a great recent record in this race. Aidan O'Brien, who's won this race 8 times. The first winner for him was Rocket Gibraltar. This was the second of the Magnificent Seven back in 2001. They've got to have the horse that goes and wins this race. Fair enough. There is no justification whatsoever for Distant Storm being 9-4 for this race. At 6-1, I was saying this is the only danger. This is the only horse that would give me a sleepless night about Zavateri. But that was when he was a 6-1 shot. 9-4, and we're getting 3-1 about Zavateri. Thanks, Peter Michael. Where do you stand?
It's a hard race to try and weigh up. I don't see much value in any of them at the moment. But the one I'm going to put up is Distant Storm. Sorry, Emmet. Can I have a look at you now? Yeah.
Yes, Peter.
Is there peas everywhere? Is there peas everywhere?
You should take that back! You're a disgrace!
Sorry, Emmet Kennedy. Sorry, there's just a bit of noise in the background here. I'm trying to concentrate. But
if you stop waffling, we might get some work done.
You see, it's a tricky one because on the line through with Italy, Italy, on Distant Storm's second run, Italy beat them. And on the line through with Italy, obviously, Gstaad and Zavateri should have the beaten in Distant Storm. But I think Distant Storm didn't run his race that day. I don't know, maybe Newmarket on the 25th flattered him. I don't know. So it's a bit tricky, but I have to put him up because he looked seriously impressive that day, Newmarket. He took a while to hit top stride, but when he did, he just powered away. And as Andy, the Nap Newton said, Zavateri and Gstaad is, they're coming into this after 2 pretty hard races. So I don't know if that's going to factor into it, but it's definitely going to be on the side of Distant Storm, obviously. Although, he's only ran just over 2 weeks ago and they've had nearly 4 weeks to get over it. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if the 2 Godolphin outsiders ran well as well. Saba Desert 25-1 and Pacific Avenue 66-1. Pacific Avenue was only beaten 3.5 lengths or just, 3.25 lengths by Bo Echo.
Well, at least he's bringing the Bo Echo form into the race. That's interesting. Saba Desert is intriguing with first-time cheek pieces. I think one of these 2 is going to head off to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf.
Well, obviously Saba Desert probably didn't run his race at the Curragh for whatever reason, but, Pacific Avenue is a crazy price, really. His form is not that bad to be that price. And Saba Desert as well, he beat Italy in Newmarket, and if you forgive his last run, they have a ticket to outrun their odds. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they'll win. I don't think they'll be good enough, but I plan on having a 5 or a 10 on each of them at that price. But yeah, look, I'm going to go with Distant Storm. Obviously there's very little to choose between Gstaad and Zavateri. So, it was a bob at the head. So, you would expect that there wouldn't be much to choose between them again. So that's the reason why I'm going to sway with Distant Storm. Just hope he's a little bit better than that form line. But the form is telling us that he's not as good as them. But I'm willing to forgive him for that run at York because I don't think he ran his race that day. As I said the last time when we were previewing, when he was running, I think he raced in the wrong part of the track and just, didn't really run his race. And the one thing about him as well is the last time they settled him towards the back and that seemed to work for him. So, yeah, there's not, out of the top 3 or 4, there's very little juice in any of them, but I'll go with Distant Storm as the likely winner, and I wouldn't really like the 2 other Godolphin horses at big prices. Sorry, Emmet, am I kicked off the show now?
No, kicked off the show for having an opinion that's different to mine. No, of course not.
But this is your horse.
You're completely wrong. You're hilariously wrong, and he's 9-4. You're not getting any value about this Distant Storm. If you were getting 6-1, absolutely, that's a fantastic bet at that price. This doesn't make sense. He beat nothing that day, and he was a 15-8 shot, 9-4 in the morning. The money comes from late on, and he wins quite well, but that's weak form in hindsight. And at the time, I loved it. I remember saying on the weekend review on the Monday show, I'm genuinely nervous about this Distant Storm. That was really impressive. This looks like a proper Group 1 performer. And I watched the race back last night and went, what was I so concerned about? It's fine, but there's no substance to the form in behind him. Look, Charlie Appleby said, we have a Group 1 target for this horse after he won on debut when he beat Constitution River, who's obviously very talented. Unfortunately, seems to be on the sidelines. We haven't seen him since. And 9 other horses have all emerged from that race to go and win. And all of them, well, a lot of them looking like serious prospects. I don't know what he was doing in the Acom, and I don't know why they went to the front when Charlie Appleby is then saying, yeah, we worked him in the front and he hated it. So why did they go to the lead that day? That's strange. But it's made a man of him. Mentally, he's matured from that, obviously, and that's a comment that Charlie Appleby made today at the Tattersall Sales, that he doesn't mind a horse getting beaten and that it can show maturity. Ruling Court was beaten in the race. He comes out and wins a Guineas a year later. It's entirely possible that Distance Storm is going to just improve. I think he'll be a cracking 3-year-old. This is a narrative from Charlie as well, that he thinks he'll be a classic horse. It's rare that you get the opportunity to back an unbeaten multiple group race winner who is a Group 1 winner as well, who is bred to improve with racing, stepping up in trip, and with age, at 3-1 as the third favourite against 2 horses, one of whom he's beaten fair and square already, and the other one who doesn't have Group 1 form to his name. This is simple. Zavateri's the bet.
But you have to say there's nothing between Zavateri and Gstaad. You have, I mean, that race could have gone either way.
It was the Curragh.
Yeah.
It was the Curragh, and Zavateri came from off the pace on a speed favouring track.
True. Absolutely.
If he finishes last, I don't feel bad about it. If Zavateri gets lapped in this race, if he gets crushed, okay,
absolutely.
Okay, fair enough. I'm still happy with 3-1.
Yeah, no, you're right.
This is the point I was about to make, Emmet. I think it boils down to you're going to feel far sillier watching Zavateri win at 3-1 than you are watching Distance Storm win at 9-4 if you haven't backed him.
That's true.
Yeah.
I see that. I see the point. Yeah.
I mean, look, Zavateri is definitely the value. It's just obviously we're in the business, I suppose, of trying to find the winner. And even though Distance Storm isn't value, I just think
Definitely.
That's the thing for me. I just think those races look super tough last time, and I just think at some point it's going to catch up with him.
Yeah, but he's a tough horse, though, Andy. He's that was a real tough race in the Vintage Stakes. Humidity has come out and franked the form. Morris Dancer's gone and won the Stonehenge Stakes. Dorset's come out as George said and won the big sales race, and took an even bigger thumping in the meantime from Zavateri in the Vincent O'Brien National Stakes. I think he only just does enough. I think he gets there, and I suspect Charlie will play him very late. I respect Charlie Appleby immensely, and I respect the regard that he has for Distance Storm. There was a little bit of George Washington-esque swagger about that performance the other day. There was, and I'd love to see that. I'd love to see a George Washington bloodline be a proper Group 1 performer. Maybe he's the Guineas winner. Maybe he is. 3-1 Zavateri is insane. At 6-1, Distance Storm would be a bet. I would take on Zavateri, but we're not getting 6-1. So this is a very easy choice for me.
You would take on Zavateri? Oh, my Lord.
If you're getting 6-1 about Distance Storm, yeah, and we were getting 6-1 about him a couple of weeks ago.
You would betray the love of your life. Come on, Emmet. You can't be doing that.
Aren't you a professional bettor? Aren't you supposed to rule head over heart? Isn't that the whole point?
I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I just stick a pin in and I get lucky.
And Peter Michael's Telegram group is available for you now. By the way, we'll announce the winner of... You might be in for a bit of a surprise if you entered the competition last week, and a lot of you did. The winner of Peter Michael's Telegram group competition for the Final Furlong podcast, 1xBet Handicap, will be announced in a little bit on the Final Furlong podcast. Zavateri for George and I, Distance Storm for Andy Newton and Peter Michael. Good debate, lads. I enjoyed that. Best of luck to you, and best of luck to you, whoever you're with.
Before we move on, I just want to say I also really like Zavateri. I really do, and I have full respect. And I actually would like to see him win the race, if I'm being honest, especially for the lesser owners and lesser trainer. Nothing against Eve, she's a brilliant trainer. But I mean, look, I think there was an article there about her that she is to kind of buy horses under a certain budget, and she's taken on these horses that are worth millions, and that are being bought for millions. So fair play to her, and she's an incredible trainer. It's nearly every year or second year she comes up with a very, very good 2-year-old.
Oh, she's phenomenal.
You have to take her. Yeah, she really. I'm not just saying this, but she's, she deserves to get better quality horses. I'd love to see what she could do with them.
I'm going to play an exacta, by the way, on Zavateri/Italy, Zavateri Oxagon. That's a quick turnaround for Distance Storm. I don't know about it. And Gstaad has had 2 hard races now, and he's come out on the wrong side of both of them. So I think he's a lovely horse, but I'm not entirely sure that he's actually the one they wanted in this race. I wonder if Constitution River, Albert Einstein, one of those horses was more in line for it, but it's just worked out that he's the one who's there. So Zavateri, Italy, 11-1. Italy's got very solid form, and I think there's improvement to come from him. And they backed him. They backed him hard the other day. Sent him off 7-2 when he was a double figure price the night before. That's something to bear in mind. Okay, we're going to go back to the very first race of the afternoon at Newmarket, the 1:15. This is a real puzzle. Well, it is a puzzle. I'm pretty confident about my selection. And it's not the 7-4 favourite, which is Damius, who came from what looked like the worst running of the Dante ever. And then all of a sudden, well, Pride of Aris comes out and wins, and Wimbledon Hawkeye goes to America and wins, and Damius himself goes to France, and the Line in Winter has turned out to be pretty good as well, with some decent Group 1 form to his name now. It's the Too Darn Hot Darley Stakes Group 3. Damius 7-4, First Conquest 7-2, and Gladius, who I like, is 4-1. George, you were starting to come around to the idea of Liberty Lane for this race.
Yeah, I think in terms of recent form, Damius probably has the pick of the form. Like the second in the Dante is starting to look all right, as you said. And when he won that listed contest at Deauville, the second was beaten 2 1/4 lengths in a Group 2 the next time. The third was second in a conditions race to Royal Playwright next time out. The fourth finished third in the listed contest afterwards. And he is best in at the weights. But you're not getting much of a price about him, despite the fact that maybe his form might have the most substance of some of these, certainly recent form. The only horse I can find with more substantial form, you have to go back nearly a year, is Liberty Lane. And just a little small fact, his 2 career highest RPRs have come over course and distance. His second best RPR coming when chasing home Lead Artist in this last year, who obviously went on to win the Lockinge. And you look through his form since those 2 runs close at the end of last season on presumably ground similar to what we're going to get now, winning the Cambridgeshire and finishing second in this. He's not been back to Newmarket. He's not been back to the Rolling Mile, and it seems to be where he brings his best form. Look, he's run well enough in between. He won that listed race at Goodwood. He's third to the Foxes in the Group 2 at Chester. It's decent. Last 2 have been less good, but I just think if coming back to the Rolling Mile does spark an improvement in him, he is a hell of a price here for a horse that finished second in it last year, and I would say in a much better renewal. So it'd be small stakes, but I'd rather go small stakes on Liberty Lane than try and land a big one with Damius at that price. Is the Dante brilliant form? Is it terrible form? We just don't know. Basically, you can make that form say whatever you want it to say, which is a very dangerous thing doing this job. So I just go small stakes Liberty Lane.
True, but at least you're getting a price. You're getting 11-2, but a horse who was sent out favourite for this race a year ago. So look, it makes sense. I'm going with Gladius. 3-year-olds have won 5 of the last 8 runnings of this race. Andrew Balding's team have been in fantastic form all season long, and this horse was tipped up in the Final Furlong podcast for the York Ebor Festival by myself, and I think it might have been Peter as well. He was the subject of a massive gamble that day. We were getting a pretty big price, I think 9-1, 8-1 on the Thursday. He ends up going off a 5-2 shot and was really, really strong. That form has worked out pretty well. He's a close 4th, second Boiling Point, goes and wins the Cambridgeshire for Andy Newton, and Skakuza, who was third in a Group 2 on Arc weekend. So Gladius to continue that good run form forward, hopefully, and Oisin Murphy to get the job done. Andy Newton, who do you like?
It's very tricky on this one. I think you can probably rule out Mr. Riz and the other Gosden horse at the bottom, I'm probably going to put a line through First Conquest as well, even though there is some form to sort of cling to there. Gladius is interesting with that Boiling Point form for sure, and yeah, looks a tad overpriced to me. But I don't know. Look, Gosden's won 2 of the last 4. And he's got obviously Damius in here, and it's just, I think the trip obviously bombed out in the Derby, didn't stay, and then bounced back in France last time. They've given it almost 2 months off. So yeah, that it is tricky. But I'm sort of with, I think the value, like if we're going to go back to what we talked about in the Dewhurst, the value's probably got to be with Liberty Lane, just because of the track form. I mean, it's on the Rolling Mile. It's 2. Look, it bombed out in the Cambridgeshire in 2023 before it won it. Came like last or something, but rule that out, and it's never been out the first 2. It's like 2 bomb out, 1-1-2. Yeah, Liberty Lane. The only sort of thing, and these colours, as we mentioned in the poddy yesterday, you know, they've Colbert, Clifford Lee, and the owner have absolutely sort of smashed it on Saturdays, haven't they, for the last probably 2, 3, 4 weeks, you know, with Bow Echo and Boiling Point and a few others. So the only sort of slight thing is that all 5 of its wins have been at listed level or below. I'm not sure if it's done a group win yet, but in its defence, I think it's only run probably once or twice at group level. So, just give it another go. I think Liberty Lane's the value here, but I do fear the favourite. But yeah, it's more value, Liberty Lane.
George Bowie's going to be really annoyed at you giving a horse to Carl Burke. Zeus Olympus is the one you were thinking of, but we'll forgive you considering you continue to just crush in double-figure priced winners week in, week out. No pressure on Andy Newton this week. 14-1 nap coming your way soon. Peter Michael, who's going to win this race?
I don't know. I think my Wi-Fi is playing up a bit there, lads. But anyway, look, this is a very, very competitive race. I really don't have a firm opinion on this at all. I just can't work it out. It's too hard for me. Torito's a horse I like, but obviously he's had his problems. I think he's only raced, three times in just over a year. So he's obviously has problems. He was a horse going places, I thought, last year. I don't know if he's up to this class. I mean, he's rated 109, so that gives him a very good chance in this, considering he's the outside of the field. So I might just take a chance and go with him because he's a bit of value and he doesn't have much to find in the ratings. Obviously, the last time he ran as an Ascot, he was 11th out of 16, but he's only beaten just under 5 lengths. So he's going to come on for that. He's had another 4 months off nearly. So I don't know. He obviously has problems, so he's probably not going to ever fulfill the potential I thought he could be. But he might outrun his odds, so I'll go with him to cause a shock.
He was only a length and a half of Liberty Lane last year in a big handicap at Newmarket. What was that Newmarket handicap? It was a bookmaker Suffolk Stakes handicap. That was before Watnam bought him. Yeah, 10-1.
Yeah, and he's £4 better off for that as well. So they should be finishing very close on that. But look, he's obviously had injury problems, so I don't know what to expect. But he's a bit of value.
Absolutely, huge value for that matter. Okay, that's the opening race of the afternoon. And if you're going to be signing up for a betting company this weekend, consider 1xBet for the first time. If you're going to be joining them right now, there's a great welcome offer. Place a €10 bet, you get €30 in free bets to play with. It's 18 plus only. Terms and conditions apply. Gambleaware.org, 1xBet.ie, Ireland's newest betting company. Sign up now if you haven't already and get yourself €30 in free bets this weekend, next weekend, the weekend after. Use them whenever it is you feel like. 1xBet.ie, the official betting partner of the Final Furlong podcast, and more races to be sponsored at the Curragh in the coming weeks as well. So best of luck to everybody who's taking part in those races. Hopefully we'll see you there. The second race of the afternoon and the third race we're going to preview is the 150 at Newmarket. It's the Night of Thunder's Zetland Stakes, the Group 3. Endorsement is your favourite for Aidan O'Brien and Wayne Lorden at 2-1. He's got a really nice pedigree, and he was second to the Benvenuto Chiellini, who went on to win the Future Champions race on Irish Champions weekend very, very impressively, and then he beat Limestone Lad last time out. There have been 3 subsequent winners to come out of that race subsequently.
Wait, Limestone Lad is back?
Limestone Lad would have...
Wow.
Limestone Lad would have devoured this lot. He would have devoured them.
Over a mile and 2, I don't know. Come on.
He still would have run them into the ground. He would have gone off in the front end, and actually this fella looked a little bit slow, and Wayne Lorden needed to get after him quite a bit. It's interesting that Wayne rides him actually in the Christophe Soumillon, who is technically number 1, rides Pierre Bonnard, who's been backed 5-1 into 100-30 just in the last hour. Look to the stars for Charlie Appleby, who's got a really good record in this race. He's a gelding, so he's an interesting profile, but he stayed on well the other day, 3-1. And Del Moro for Charlie Appleby is also the second string. He has not won in 3 starts, but he's been sent off favourite for all 3 of them. George, who's going to take this race in your opinion?
Not an overly out there opinion for me. In fairness, I've seen them flip-flop favourites a few times throughout the day, but it's going to be endorsement for me here. He's got an RPR £1 higher than Look to the Stars after 2 fewer starts. So obviously, in theory, he'll improve past him on his 3rd start, in theory. On debut, chased home Benvenuto Chiellini, went on to win a Group 2 on his next start. Second horse, Limestone, went on to finish second to endorsement again next time for winning a rated race at Listowel. And the third horse, Hardy Warrior, won Leopardstown maiden at Leopardstown before then chasing home Benvenuto Chiellini in that Group 2. When endorsement, then won his maiden at Tipperary, pulled well clear of next time out winners in 2nd, 5th, 6th and 7th. I think the form's stacking up, and this will probably be too good for these. Like I say, on ratings, he's already as good as Look to the Stars, and he's probably got more room for improvement.
I don't disagree with you. What I also find interesting is that the last 2 winners of that race at Tipperary were Tennessee Stud and Los Angeles, both of whom would go on to win the 10 furlong Group 1 at St. Cloud. So interesting that Endorsement isn't going for that race, that he comes for this one instead, and the 10 furlong step up and trip is going to surely suit him, Andy Newton. He did look a little bit awkward, a little bit slow. It was a workman-like win, but he got the job done, and the form has been boosted, Andy.
The format, yeah, it has. I mean, yeah, a bit of a sort of a high head carry, looked a bit awkward, and you know, and I don't know, maybe hanging a little bit. But yeah, I mean, like George said, I mean, the form's just like there for everyone to see. The second's 1/6, the fifth to 6, and whatever. It's quite deep, you know, all the way back down. And you know, they've given it 41 days off, so that's a plus. You know, it's already 33-1 for the Derby. I've seen as well. Whether that sort of interests you. So yeah, look, you know, based on the sort of greenness and whatever, you think there's going to be definitely more to come. The jockey bookings do sort of worry me a tad, and obviously that's why the money's come for that Pierre Bonnard. But I don't know. I just wonder whether, you know, we're all thinking Soumillon, you know, is the sort of supposed number one at the moment with Ryan and sidelines and stuff. But, you know, maybe, look, you know, Wayne Lorden rode both of them last time, Endorsement, and he's ridden Pierre in both its runs as well. So I don't know. I just wonder whether maybe he did have the pick, or he's given him the pick, or whatever. So I'm not too worried about that. All it's done is just push the price out a tad to me, because in before, it was more like sort of 2-1 Endorsement. Now it's sort of lingering around 3-1. So yeah, I'm happy with Endorsement. Spice, I think that was quite gutsy last time out, and there's bits and bobs of form to go on there. The Alan King one, and the other one, the Andrew Baldwin one, has been impressive at Kempton a couple of times. Just worried a tad about the trip. That's all. Both of them were over a mile, and looked like it was almost getting sort of nabbed on the line by that he's last time. So stepping up might be a little bit of a concern. But yeah, look, Endorsement for me here, yeah.
I'm more tempted to go with Del Morro, who's the second string for Charlie Appleby. Charlie's got a pretty decent record in this race. He's won 3 of the last 4 runnings. This is obviously a race meaning they target an awful lot. He hasn't been gelded, despite the fact that he's been sent off favourite for all 3 starts and has been beaten in all 3 starts so far. And normally that is gelding territory for Godolphin. They're almost certainly going to do that at some point, yet they haven't done it yet. They've done it for Look to the Stars, but they've held off on him. And that Maltese Cross who beat him the other day, he fought back really, really bravely, and it was a Jane Chapel-Heim horse who stayed on very powerfully toward the end of the race. William Haggis thinks an awful lot of that Maltese Cross. He cost a fortune, but he had the rail, and Del Morro didn't. And I suspect maybe if William Buick could have that right back, if he'd held on to Del Morro just a little bit longer, he might have been able to fight that race off a little bit differently. But also Maltese Cross just had the Golden Highway. They've pulled clear of everything else. I think there's a big race in this fella, and a fair bit of talent there. And at 11-1 with Billy the Kid on board for a trainer who excels at this track and excels in this race, I'd be willing to throw a few shekels on him. Del Morro would be the one for me. Peter, for you?
Yeah, obviously the starting point is Aidan O'Brien with Endorsement, and his form is there, as you guys have said, for everyone to see, especially his debut form, because that Benevento Collini looks a very, very classy horse, and he wasn't disgraced behind him. I think it was in Killarney, yeah. And then he beat Limestone after that, who was also third in that race. But I'm gonna take a chance. I hope there's 8 at the moment. 8 has been declared, and I hope there's no unknown runners, because I think Spice could be a decent each way bet here. I really liked his first run. I tracked him after that, and I tipped him up for a second run. And as Andy said, he battled well that day. I think it was a John Gosden newcomer that pushed him all the way that day. Let me just make sure. Or Haggis. Gosden newcomer, who was very expensively bought and well backed, I think, if I remember rightly, on the show. And John Gosden can often start a very, very good 2-year-old at Yarmouth. He's a guy to follow there blindly. Himself and William Haggis, they seem to do very well at that track. And Spice knuckled down and battled well, and I think he's going to improve a good bit for this 2 furlongs. Well, I don't think, I'm pretty sure. I know he's going to improve for this 2 furlongs. The question is if he's good enough to beat these. He's only had 2 runs. He's improving. He's progressed from his first run, which is always good to see. So, yeah, I'm going to put him up each way, and I hope there's 8 runners, because if there's 8 runners, I think, he definitely won't be far away, and he could give them a good race at 8. What price is he?
You are currently getting 11s.
Yeah, I think that's a lovely each way price for him. If he runs his race, he's not going to be outside the top 4 or 5, and I think I'd be disappointed if he's not placed, put it to you like that, and I think he could push them.
Okay, and Francesco Baldi will have been in action in the listed race at Dundalk the night before, so the form may very well have been franked between now and then. Alan King's got a good team of horses, and the owner has got Life Plan, who looks
That's the other thing I want
to
mention, actually. Sorry, Emmet. This horse cost 280,000. So it's good to see Alan King with a 280,000 2-year-old. I don't think he gets that many very expensive 2-year-olds. So let's see how he does with him,
Yeah, absolutely. And Russell Ryan keeps the ride as well. He's becoming much more flat focused as Alan King, and he's doing very, very well on the flat as well. Some nice pedigrees in show in that race. The Dam of Endorsement is a sister to Johannes Vermeer, who won the Criterium International as a 2-year-old, and Wembley, who was second in the Dewhurst to St. Mark's Basilica. So maybe Endorsement is better than he looked the last day. Maybe he's going to appreciate that step up in trip. It's a race that I want to take a swing at. It's one that Peter wants to take a swing at too. So we're both going for 11-1 shots. Del Maro for me, Sky Ace for Peter. And you've had the selections from the 2 boys as well. That's a really, really interesting race. The Autumn Stakes.
Sky Ace is not running there.
Yeah, whatever. Everyone knows it, who you were going for. Emirates Autumn Stakes, the Group 3. Hanklow is your 9-4 favourite with 1x bet. Alzanti, 3-1 after being sent off an odds-on shot on debut from August George, who's gone on to then win next time out and finish second in the sales race behind Dorset. So that form has been franked. Straight Up would have run at Dundalk last week had it not been for Storm, whatever its name is, causing havoc, but is rerouted to this race. And it's a race that Aidan O'Brien has won last year with Delacroix, but also he's had horses like Circus Maximus and Magna Grecia, both in the same year in 2018, place in this race before going on to Classic Glory and Group 1 success respectively for those horses. And of course Circus Maximus wears the Niarchos silks. New Zealand is the second string for Aidan O'Brien in this race. Wayne Lorden rides a good winner the other day out of a Royal Ascot winner in different league, and by Frankel. Who are you with? George Gorman?
There'd be no surprises. We kind of call Endorsement a Puerto Rico bet, as it is by Wootton Bassett out of a Galileo mare stepping up in trip. It's another Puerto Rico bet, and this one is by Frankel out of a Dabrizin mare, so slightly different. But it's New Zealand for me. Beat Isaac Newton in winning his maiden, who went on to win maiden next time. I thought it was a respectable 5th at Longchamp the other day on ground that would have been softer than ideal.
Yeah.
The 3rd horse from that maiden, Action, won a maiden next time out before being beaten a length and a half in the Group 2 Royal Lodge by Bo Echo. The 3rd horse, Go Just Do It, finished 3rd in the current Group 2 next time out behind Constitution River. This horse's Galileo half-brother won a Mile 2 maiden and finished 3rd in the Chester Vase. And with New Zealand being by Frankel, you'd have to think the step up to a mile will bring out some improvement. And there's a small bit of heart involved as well, as Different League was the first of 3 Royal Ascot winners I've been slightly involved in. So, we'd like to see New Zealand go and win this. But it's yet another Puerto Rico bet for me.
Okay, the Puerto Rico bet deserves a big, big mention because he was a huge price when you put him up for the Champagne Stakes, and now he's a Group 1 winner as well. So those horses can improve it out of nowhere. And just for those who like it, this horse made his debut in the same maiden that Aidan O'Brien won with Glen Eagles, Gustav Klimt, and City of Troy, most importantly. And then last time out, he won the same maiden that Henry Longfellow and the Line in Winter won for the last couple of seasons. So New Zealand potentially has a lot of scope for improvement. He's rated 104p by Timeform, which is a little bit behind Hanklow, who's 113p, but these are juveniles. It's very, very early days. So who is Andy Newton going to be siding with?
I am going to be siding with the Godolphin horse, I think, Al Zanetti, that they have got a cracking record. I mean, you mentioned Aidan O'Brien, winning it with, last year. That's his only win in the race, though, actually. He's had loads of sort of near misses and this, that, and the other. So, but in contrast, this is like a Godolphin sort of benefit, isn't it? They've won 8 of the last 9. Charlie Appleby and Buick have won 4 of the last 5. I'm a little bit worried about the step up in trip, if I'm honest, because I think it was just about running out of petrol last time at over 7 furlongs on debut. But, that form looks all right with that. That August George has come out and run all right in that Goff's Millions, didn't it? It came second at a big price. So, there's some substance there. Getting home for straight up in terms of the trip, that it is up as well from 7 furlongs to a mile, but I think that's absolutely fine. That was on heavy ground, and that did look impressive as well. I am worried about straight up. So, I think the first, they pulled well clear of the first 2, didn't they, of the rest of the field that day as well. So, interesting race. And I think at a price, probably the Hugo Palm one, that Glaciers, is probably a little bit overlooked, only because it's got some, it was a nice winner on debut, over a mile, Triple Be Fine, won on the July course, and it was 4 lengths behind Bo Echo last time at Haydock. So, again, we're going to see how good that Bo Echo form is as well. So, but I just think that it's 40-1 for the Derby already, that Alzanetti, and you just can't ignore the Godolphin form in this race, personally.
Don't go anywhere near a Dubawi for the Derby, dearie me. Absolutely insane stuff. But Glacius is really interesting. Because he brings in that Del Moro form, who I like in the previous race, but more importantly, he brings in the Bo Echo form, and obviously Bo Echo himself has franked that by winning the Royal Lodge, and I know the Hugo Palmer team really like him, so it's interesting that they're taking a swing at this race. I'm afraid of your horse, Andy. I'm very afraid of Alzanti. I think he's really, really interesting. Charlie's won this 5 times since 2015. Godolphin have won it 8 times in total, 3 for Said Ben Saror. The Dam won a listed race in the Group 3 UAE Oaks for Charlie at Meydan over 9 furlongs on fast ground. Charlie suggested on Racing TV that he thinks he's won for next season. So it's interesting that he's thrown him into this race, in a race that he's got a good record in and has won with some good horses. But I think the far more interesting one is Straight Up. That's a beautiful pedigree, and it's somewhat fitting that on the day it was announced that Wootton Bassett had passed away, he comes out and wins. And what was really intriguing is that Aidan O'Brien had a beautifully bred horse in that race, King of Sparta. And we've already seen plenty of examples this season of where an Aidan O'Brien horse can be beaten 10 lengths, but then improve significantly from first to second start. Well, Wayne Lordan didn't want to ride that horse. He wanted to ride this one on debut, and those two pulled miles clear of everything else at Listowel, and he beat King of Sparta, despite the fact that horse had previous race experience, by 3 lengths. They sent him off a 9-4 favourite. He's beautifully bred by Wootton Bassett out of Flutter, who's a sister to Tapestry, herself out of Rumpelstiltskin, a dual Group 1 winning juvenile, who was a really, really talented horse. She won the Moigler and she won the Prix Marcel Bouzak as well. I think it's very significant that Straight Up comes for this race, a race that the Niarchos family had a second in, or third in, with Circus Maximus, and that Aidan won last year with Delacroix. And I very much like the fact that Christophe Soumillon is on board as well. I think he'll be shorter. I think he'll be significantly shorter than the 130, and I'm going to take that price now. But I'm afraid of your one, Alzanti. I might play some sort of scumbag exacta with Glacius, but right now, the 130 about Straight Up is the one for me. Peter Michael?
Yeah, it's a hard race again because, there's so many unexposed horses in it. I'm going to go with O'Brien. I think there's a small chance he could get the first and second here. I was impressed with Straight Up, but obviously it's totally different conditions. It was nearly bottomless at the stole. And if I remember rightly, I think he missed a kick. I don't think he missed it that bad. I think he wasn't left behind or anything, but he did miss the kick. And the Stole is not an easy track to come from behind on, especially first time out. So obviously a very, very smart horse. Massive step up in class for him. Only just under 3 weeks ago. So obviously you'd imagine he's come out of the race well, and everything's gone well for him. Otherwise they wouldn't be bringing him over so soon. And New Zealand as well. George touched on him. Has good form. Was sent off 11 to 10 to 11 in a decent Curran maiden the last time. Okay, first time out he was well beaten, but as you said, Emmet, the O'Brien horses can just improve a shitload from their first run. So I think I don't think it's the worst idea to put something in both of them, and maybe even a small reverse forecast. And the two outsiders as well could be a little bit of value, Archer Royal and Glacius. I'd have them a bit shorter in the betting, but I would hope that the two O'Brien horses would be able to take care of them because they've got, Straight Up could be anything, and we learn more about him on Saturday. And New Zealand, shouldn't be 8-1. New Zealand should be shorter in the betting in my mind. So I think O'Brien will win it, and he could have the first two. I'll go with Straight Up.
Come on, Sumio. Come on, Peter and Michael. Let's go Straight Up. And New Zealand for the forecast, and Glacius. Can we do the TriCast in that race? Is there 8 runners?
Yeah.
We can't. There's 7.
You've left out the winner.
Yeah, sorry about that, Andy. Sorry about that.
We don't put even money shots in our TriCast and forecast, Andy, the NAP. Come on.
Hi.
No, he's 3-1. He's 3-1, Alzanti. But it's Straight Up.
Oh, he's 3-1?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm on.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the previous Godolphin horse.
It's all right. It's a long day. It's a long day for everybody. Hey, I'm giving the wrong horse names here earlier on. You had to correct me on that, which is why I wanted to move on very quickly from it. If you are going to be looking for a new bookmaker, if you're frustrated with your bookmaker, if you've had enough, they're limiting you to SP. Maybe you didn't even back a winner. Maybe you just had the audacity of beating the SP at Fundalk, and they've taken away all the incentives. You can see the frustration on Peter's face. See the way Andy jilted forward there. See the way George has that expression on his face. Yeah, they know it. They know all this. They know the frustration, the pain of getting an email. We're sorry, we don't really want your business anymore. Well, try a new bookmaker. Try 1xBet Ireland for the first time. And if you do this weekend, next weekend, whenever it is you decide to switch to 1xBet, place a €10 bet, you'll get €30 in free bets to play with. You got to be over 18. Obviously, I'm sure you all are anyway. Terms and conditions apply, as they always do in life. 1xbet.ie. Check it out now. Ireland's newest bookmaker. Sign up today. Get involved. And hopefully there's quite a bit of profits to be made. If the lads keep up their form, then hopefully there will be good profits to be made. Last year, Peter Michael had the exacta in the Cesarewitch. It didn't matter. It didn't matter that Alphonse Legrand was disqualified on the Tuesday. And then Manxman gets the race, only for Manxman to then be disqualified and to give him back to Alphonse Legrand, because that whole thing was a complete mess. Didn't matter, because Peter Michael had Manxman and Alphonse Legrand. The forecast paid, I can't even remember. It was obscene amounts of money. The whole thing was nuts. Andy was involved in this too, by the way. Had you put up Manxman?
No, I had Manxman, so I was like, yes, and then it all went tits up after that.
Yeah,
and I don't even know what happened.
Congratulations on your horse being promoted to first place on the Tuesday. You don't get paid out, by the way, because that's how those whip rules work. What an absolute nonsense that is. Epic scenes last year from Peter Michael. Is he going to be able to repeat the dose this year for the Club Godolphin Cesarewitch Handicap? Well, we got 21 runners. Alphonse Legrand is back. Shamie Heffernan rides this year. Interesting. 6-1 with Reverend Hubert, who was a really impressive winner of the trial, and Sylvester de Souza takes over. 6-1 joint favourite. Bunting. George Gorman. Bunting is a single figure price for a major handicap at Newmarket. Am I seeing things?
No, I think they obviously haven't seen the weather forecast.
Yeah.
I would suggest.
The going is currently good, to quote that incredibly successful advertising campaign from Great British Racing, which we're all in favour of, and obviously was incredible and had massive impacts. Yeah. Going is good. 7-1 Bunting. Hip Hop Deloire. Oh, Jamie Wren will get nightmares about this horse. 15-2, and Belgravian, who's a very interesting runner. Nicola Curry will ride, because 8 stone 2 would be just a little bit too much for Jason Watson. 8 stone 7's about his right. So, who's going to win the big handicap? Andy Newton's got a 14-1 nap for this, so hold mad tough. George Gorman.
Well, I nailed this down to 4 horses and then pulled my hair out trying to narrow it down further to 2. I do the ones I knocked out to start with so I can look really stupid when one of them wins. I think Baylor Bay I went off because although everything he does on the racetrack says he'll stay this trip, everything in his pedigree says he won't. So that he was knocked out. Polestar, I think, will improve for this step up in trip, but his recent form gives me concern. I landed on Belgravian, was the first ones I landed on. Won 4 of his last 5 before coming here to run the trial for this race. He was a beaten favourite and he was beaten away by the winner, but the winner beat everything a fair way. And he was given a very sympathetic ride on that occasion, seemed to handle the track well enough when finishing 3rd. And he is now £18 better off with the winner on this occasion. So I think even if it was an honest 8 lengths rather than maybe a slightly sympathetic 8 lengths, I would fancy him. But it's a big turnaround at the weights, and I'd have him as my main play here. And for my second one, this cost me last time I tipped this one. It cost me dearly, and I haven't been near it since. But Manxman's Riders £5 claim brings him back down to a mark of 89. Which is £6 higher than he was when finishing second in this last year, which leaves him £2 worse off with Alphonse Legrand. But it is £2 lower than his last winning mark. Given he's guaranteed to stay and act on the track, and actually he's run to a higher RPR than when second in this 3 times this season, I'm just willing to take a chance. He's improved £6 since last year's running. I just think it's a horse that is going to thrive on this test. Is he quite where you want him to be in the weights? No. But I do think he's a little better this season, and he's certainly, at the price he is, he's an each-way play at least.
You just know the Crisfords will have targeted this race all along because they were seriously annoyed with the fiasco that happened last year. If you're going to disqualify a horse, if you're going to do a whole whip rule thing, then disqualify the horse on the day. And don't lecture us or gaslight us about, it's too difficult for the stewards to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Easy. Very, very simple. Even a monkey could do it, to quote the great Ted Walsh. What a load of absolute nonsense this is. Oh, what a nonsense. Anyway, Josh Epiaf, you can go on a rant about that on a special Final Furlong podcast episode on Saturday. And Tom Malone will be here to put some sanity into the world and talk about the jump season. There's a couple of old that's going to be available for you on Saturday evening, I believe. And check out those on the Final Furlong podcast on YouTube and on all good podcast apps and some rubbish ones as well. Peter Michael, I'm going to save Andy Newton because he's got his 14-1 nap going in this race. Who do you like? Can you follow up last year's 1-2?
Well, I just checked it there because I'd forgotten how much I paid. I paid 600 to 1 and the exact. So thanks for bringing it up again, because I should have done it. And I didn't.
People did. People did.
I hope they did. Well, there you go. They should come join my tipping group for £1 a day. They'll make more money that way. Now, will I just keep it simple and go for the same 2 again? Because they're running in it and they came first and second. Manxman, Alphonse Grant. Will I? I mean, can I desert them after that?
It's up to you.
Yeah, no. Look, it's very, very tricky. Look, you look at the betting. Joint favourites. Alphonse Grant, trained by Tony Martin. The other joint favourite, Reverend Hubert, trained by Charles Burns. Then underneath them, Willie Mullins. So it doesn't get, these, when you have Charles Burns and Tony Martin with favourites from massive handicaps, that they've been aimed for it nearly all season. Now, obviously, a few others as well in this race would have been. Look, I mean, it's a very tricky handicap. I don't need to state the obvious, but I'm gonna put up 2 just for the sake, because I did it last year and I got the first 2, so I'm hoping to fluke it up again. I'm gonna put up the first one. I'm gonna put up is the Ian Williams horse, Bailey Bray or Bailey Bay. Has got 2 very poor rides the last twice he's ran. He's stepping up in trip considerably. I mean, the furthest he's ran, I think, is 1 mile and 6.5. So he's got a half a mile more. I don't know if he'll stay. He hits the line very, very well. So you'd like to think he'll stay. But the last 2, he will stay 2 miles, but the last 2 furlongs, I don't know. So I'd be taking a chance, hoping that he stays. But he's definitely got the potential. He's improving. Look, he's had a lot of hard races. Well, I wouldn't call them overly hard, but he's had a lot of races over the last month. So I don't know. I mean, he's going to go over the top at some time. So maybe he's going to go over the top on Saturday. But, I was looking forward to him going up to 2 miles, but obviously it's 2 miles too. So I'm going to go with him, Burley Bay. And I don't know about Manxman. Maybe he's been targeted again at this. I've been a bit disappointed with him. I don't know if I'll put him up. Polestar was one I was looking at. He'll definitely relish the step up and trip, but I don't think he's good enough. He could be, but I might throw something small on him, but I wouldn't be putting him up as my second selection. For my second selection, I'll go with Alphonse the Grand, because I think he's, he ran well at Ascot. I think he got a ride the last time with this race in mind. And Jamie Heffernan book, so obviously he won't lack in the saddle there. So I'm going to go with Burley Bay as my first choice and Alphonse the Grand as my second choice. And have to recommend a reverse exacta again, just in case we fluke it.
Come on.
Just in case. First time cheek pieces for Ndawi, who runs off a mark of 89, having been 92 when he was ridden in this race by Jamie Spencer a year ago. He was sent off 7-1 for the race that year, and he was dreadful. Absolutely appalling. What, Peter?
Oh, sorry, I should mention Burley Bay has a hood first time to help him settle over this longer trip, so hopefully.
Kieran Fallon was on board last time out at Chester when he was sent off a 6-5 shot. That was on the back of him winning the Galway Hurdle, and that might have been, albeit controversial circumstances, but still, at least he's got his head in front. He's a talented horse. There's definitely big races in him. He's done George multiple favours on the podcast in big races in the past, getting the scumbag each way money. I think 14-1 is a big price with Kieran Fallon again on board, so I'll throw a few quid on him each way. But Belgravian has been my long-term fancy for this race, and while it was disappointing that he was beaten a long way by Reverend Hubert the other day, I think the phrase from George Gorman that he was tenderly handled, yep, I wouldn't disagree with that. Nicola Curry can do the weight at 8 stone 2. He's very favourably weighted, 9-1. Seems very fair to me. 1x bet. Andy Newton, who is your nap of the weekend?
Sorry, you put the dog is barking at me outside my door. You probably heard.
He wants to know the nap as well, Andy.
Yeah, everyone does.
You wait, all right? You'll find out in a minute, Mr. Dog. Right, look, a couple of trends, because this is a good trends race. Go over to Sportscasting. There's a whole load of them on there, right? Last back-to-back winner in this race, obviously Alphonse Legrand won it last year, was never. Right, we've never had a back-to-back winner in this race, and it's been run first in 1839 or something like that. We've had one horse.
Hold on, Andy. What happens if either Manxman or Alphonse Legrand wins?
I was about to say two won it last year, so both of them out or both of them in?
What will the historians do, Andy?
I don't know. They'll probably, I don't know, go and hang themselves off a tree or something. God, that would blow their mind. But yeah, God knows. Who knows? But look, we have had a horse that's won twice, aimed to prosper, but he didn't win it in back-to-back seasons, right? So the Shunter is back. That's another previous winner. Won it a couple of years ago. Be trying to do that, but that's like, how old's that now? God, it's
17,
12, and that's 17, and it's even the poor bloody thing, like you said off air, was it's even weighted higher.
Yeah.
But the other thing that brings me on to the age stat. 22 of the last 23 have been 4 or older, all right? The last 3-year-old to win this was a horse called Darley's Son. So I don't know how many have run in its defence to that stat, but that obviously rules out, if you do like that Belgravian, which is a 3-year-old. I'm not sure if there's any others in the race. So, but it has been done. Look, Darley's Son did do it in 2009, so we'll see. Obviously, the Irish have got a fabulous record in this race, 5 of the last 7. They've got, as you mentioned, the top, 3 or 4 in the market there. Mullins has won 3 of the last 7, and he's got, 3 or so in here. Obviously, everyone's going to sort of cling to Buick and Tony Bloom with Bunting, because he's won it a few times, Tony Bloom as well. But I'm not sure we can all have that one, to be honest with you. I think it's just underpriced because the whole Mullins, Buick, Bloom factors, basically. Hip Hop, too much weight, really. 9 stone 12. Really, you want like 19 of the last 23 have been 9 stone 2 or less. So that rules that one out. Favourites, only been 4 favourites in the last 23 as well, right? So look, anyway, we'll get on to the 3 I've come down on, right? I think the Divine Comedy, I think, is a sort of banker to stay, right? We know it's going to stay. There's a lot in here we don't know where they're going to get home. It was 5th in the Ascot Stakes, wasn't beaten far. 2nd at Goodwood in September. It's been running in group races and listed races before that. I think there's a forgotten horse down the bottom called Caprello by Hughie Morrison, who has won this in the past. And a couple of years ago, when I think the Charles Byrne horse won it, run for Oscar, he had the 2nd and 3rd in the race that year. I think one of them was Not So Sleepy. So Hughie Morrison does like this race. And that, if you watch it back, I think that last win was very, very easy. Sheen Murphy was on it. The only problem he's never won on turf, but it's only had 4 runs on turf, all right? So lightweight, 8 stone 2. But look, the nap is going to be Dawn Rising, right? The money is already coming for it, okay? Last year, it was 6 in this race, and it wasn't beaten far. It was only beaten just under 4 lengths. It was rated 104 then. Now it's rated 97, right? So it's £7 lower than last year. In terms of actual weight, it carried 9 stone 9 last year. It's only got 9 stone 3. And who they booked for it? Oisin Murphy.
Oisin the Machine.
Right? Oisin the Machine. So, look, we know it likes this race. It's got proven form in it, and it's better off than last year. Murphy won this in 2021 with Buzz. And yeah, I mean, I think last time it ran was over in Ireland in their Cesarewitch. It was going quite well. It was about 20 to 1, and it just sort of bombed out a little bit in the last sort of furlong or two, came 5th. But it's already getting back. It was 25s yesterday, and it's now, I saw some 12s a minute ago, and I'm worried it's even going to go off favourite. I am a little bit, because it's not a million miles off it.
Are you serious? Do you think he's going to be punted down to 6s?
Well, it's not a million miles off it. I'm seeing some 12s, It's only got to come down a little bit more. From what I'm looking at, the favourites are like 7s.
You're right. He has been cut to 12s. You're right.
I wouldn't rule it out going single figures, and then anything can happen because you've got about 5 there that are single figures at the moment. So anyway, and the fact Murphy's on it, Joseph O'Brien, JP McManus. Anyway, that's just an interesting one for me. I just think that get on now, 12-1 if you can. But
it was good to firm ground at Royal Ascot when he won the Queen Alexandra Stakes 2 years ago. And good to firm when he placed in it last year behind Uxmal as well. So he'll love the ground. Good won't be a problem to him. We know he stays. Really interesting. Spoiler alert, that's Andy Newton's nap. 14-1. We're going to very briefly talk about 2 races at York. We'll rattle through these ones fast. The 205 is the Pip to the Post handicap. And an old favourite. Oh my goodness. I thought Peter Michael was going to explode. I thought he was going to blow. I thought we were going to have to send a team over to him just to give him hugs and make sweet cups of tea and try and calm him down. Be like, it's okay, Peter. It's okay. It wasn't that bad a ride, because he was on a rant. And the more I watch that race back, the more I think he's fully entitled to be ranting about that. Ernst and Jan should have won that race by half their track. Are we going to get compensation this weekend, Peter?
Yeah, well, look, you study the race, you try to find one at a price, you pick one of those 50s in the exchanges, 28 SP, and you win your side by 6 lengths, and you get a poor, there's no other way to say it, you get a poor ride. If that doesn't annoy you, then give up the game and go play bingo or something. It has to annoy you, Well, it has to annoy you. You have to. I mean, otherwise there's no point. There's no point being in the game. Look, yeah, he was on the wrong side, so that wasn't ideal for Ray. But look, we touched on it. He went for the horse way too late. The horse, Anyway, look, he's going up a furlong and a half in trip. He's running again soon enough. I mean, that was only 2 weeks ago. I don't know how he's going to run so soon after that, but I don't know if he's going to stay. You imagine he would stay. I mean, he ran well enough over the trip at York. The way he hit the line at Newmarket, you'd imagine he would stay, but it's not guaranteed. But I think he will, and I think, if that race hasn't left a mark on him, I think he'll win. I mean, I was seriously impressed with the way he travelled. I was seriously impressed with the way Ray went from a furlong too late, the way he picked up, and I was seriously impressed how he hit the line. So, yeah, I think he'll win. I've already put him up in my group just before we came on the podcast, and unfortunately for members who are not in my group, we've actually moved the price, because as soon as we put him up, the price has gone down a full point from around. There was 9-2 available. I think the best available now is 7-2 and as low as 5-2. So that's why it pays to be in my group.
For those of you who are not a member of the Telegram group, this is the sound that Peter made as they crossed the line.
I can tell you it wasn't. It was worse than that.
Yeah, we can't play. All we could play, we had to cut it at this.
No, that was
by the way, that is not Sam Neill in Event Horizon. That's Peter Michael losing his mind. George Gorman, what do you think of the race at York?
Yeah, look, I figured Erzincan was going to be very well covered here, and his chance is very obvious off the back of the last day. So I thought I'd chuck in a couple of bigger prices for people who are more inclined to do that. And the first of them is the 9-year-old Anderleep. He's been actually running quite well of late. Like he's run to an RPR of over 100 5 times in his career, a career spanning 7 years, bear in mind. 3 of those 5 were in his last 4 starts. Like, he's in rare form at the moment. He was a course and distance winner back in the day. And the angle here is basically, while he's a 2-time winner at Southall, 3-time winner at Windsor, which where he's been running recently, I think the switch back to a more galloping track is going to suit him more at this age. Like I say, he had decent runs at Wolverhampton and Windsor. Not bombed out, but he ran slightly below par at Southall most recently. But his last win came at Yarmouth, which is what's making me sort of think a more galloping track's going to bring out the best of him as he gets older. He last ran off this mark 3 starts ago, and he was beaten the next. So I think he can potentially go better on this more galloping track off that mark. And he's a big old price. The other one is the outside of the entire field is 2 brothers. He was a course and distance winner, 3 starts back off a pound lower. However, before his last start, he missed 9 months, so that was about a year ago. His course and distance win. He didn't show a whole lot in his reappearance at Chester, where he has placed twice before, but he pulled a shoe, and it's a far from ideal place really to go when you're a bit ring rusty, like going around the roller coaster of the Rudy. He's a 2-time course winner in all, and they must have kept him in training at 7 years of age for a reason. Like, he must be showing something on the gallop still, and we know this mark's within his grasp. They're just two that I think are massively overpriced here, and you'll get 20 to 1 plus about both of them on the day.
Andy Newton.
Look, I can't have the Erzincan one personally. I thought it was a great ride last time, to be honest. And
says the man who had the 16 to 1 winning nap.
Yeah, look, I can totally see where you're coming from. I just don't think there's much value in it now. Everyone's sort of seen what we've seen there, and I mean, are you happy? I don't know. It hasn't won in 27 races. That would be my problem. It's only 2 from 32 in its whole career.
Unexposed for Tony Kent, though.
Never won in a handicap either. Even those first 2 wins were, in non-handicaps. So I don't know. It might just be one of those horses that sort of travels well and then just doesn't really go through with it. We'll see. And it'll be scenes.
Come on, Andy, the nap. He went through it the last time. The horse made up 6 lengths in a furlong. Come on, Andy.
Yeah, but it'll be scenes if Ray Dawson does you with Take Heart, won't it? Come on, hey.
Don't mention this, please.
That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. He's on that one.
Friend of the show, so, David Manoussier and Ray Dawson teaming up to chin him on the line. It's like, oh no.
Cheers, lads. Thank you very much.
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. I'm all over it as a Jan. He's in the lucky 63.
I think he's going to end up 5-2, 3-1. He's nearly.
It's your nap, yes. It's your nap, so I hope it wins. I generally do.
It's my nap. I've backed it. I had someone get on for me at 9-2. We got a bit of 9-2. So.
But look, the two I've sort of come down very loosely. In Insanity, Alan King won. I think it was a bit unlucky last time, got in a bit of trouble, and it ran on all right at York. And I think the form of that's okay. The 8th, that Nick Weeb's come out and won since. They're giving it a bit of a break. So that's that one. And it's probably just worth mentioning, Have Secret was actually 5th in this race last year. And it was off 88. It's now off 89, so pretty similar. But they've put on our mate, Old Fenterman, to claim 5. So it's actually loads better off than it was last year. It won at Ripon back in May off a similar mark once you put all the jockey claim factors in, this, that and the other. And look, just the fact it was 5th in it last year, and and it was only beaten about 4 lengths, and it's better off down at the weight. So yeah, Have Secret, massive price.
George Gorman.
I've just gone this way.
Oh, sorry, I meant to say George Gorman, 315, the Sprint Trophy Handicap. You don't sponsor this show. The Sprint Trophy Handicap, Hammer the Hammer, Binnerear, Old Friend, Northern Thicker, Glen Eagle Bay. Will the blinkers be the thing that finally gives him a bit of gumption, or something else?
I just think Rousing Encore is way too big a price here. It's very simple to see. He's up £5 for winning the last time, but he was beaten 3/4 of a length over course and distance off this mark in July. He was a course and distance winner here in May. Just way too big a price. It'd be a career high winning mark, but I think he's won off 85 in the past, is he? I think 82, 80. Yeah, I think back in the day he was a winner off 85. Yeah, there you go. Wolverhampton, December 23. 87's a bit of an arse, but he's just way too big a price for a horse that clearly enjoys it here. Like York, course form counts for a lot, and this mark is clearly all right for him around York. So I'll give him a go at about, is he 12s?
Around
14s.
about that. Yeah, around about that price. Yeah. Peter Michael.
I didn't look at this race.
Andy Newton.
Sorry.
Very quickly, look, Stripe Red's won it a couple of times, 2022 and last year, and it's pretty much off the same mark. It was drawn 4, it won it first time, and 9 last year. So where's it drawn now? 17, so completely different. But look, the fact it's a 2-time winner of this race, and it's pretty much off the same mark. You have to, respect that. I don't think it's won since it took this, actually, 11 runs. But look, that's the one. And look, and also, I can't take this race without going in with Corker again. It's a bit of a cliff one for me this season, but it was travelling all right at Ascot last time on soft ground. I think the better ground will suit. I mean, they've dropped it again. It's now 95. I mean, this time last year it was rated 105. So it's come down £10 in a year, and it's going to pop up at some point. I know it is, and we know it likes York. So Corker and Stripe Red for me here.
Dark Cloud Rising.
Have they got Jack Nicholls? Yeah. Oh, he's claiming another 5. So, it's even better off because they got the claimer on. But yeah.
I'll go with Dark Cloud Rising, who's dropped £1 for his most recent run behind Eternal Sunshine. He was beaten further than that horse. Beat him at Thirsk. But the mark of 92 with Danny Tutt up on board. David Amar's won this race 3 times in the last 10 years. I think stall 4 is fine. 18-1 makes some appeal, but it would be small stakes and small stakes only for that one. And if you were betting this weekend, obviously gamble responsibly, but also 1xBet. Now is the time to make the switch to 1xBet Ireland. You can find out more at 1xBet.ie. There's no anti-post betting on the site yet. All of that has been worked out, but you can take advantage of all the offers on the site on the day for race day, particularly for Saturday. It's a really competitive day's racing. The boys have given you some expert insight. They're about to give you your NAPS. We'll reveal those in a second. But if you bet €10, you get €30 in free bets if you sign up now at 1xBet.ie. 1xBet.ie. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus only. BeGambleAware.org. Sign up now at 1xBet.ie. George Gorman. We're going to do something different. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, if you're listening to the podcast, we really appreciate you. More of you listen to the podcast than watch it. We greatly appreciate that. So you're going to have to write these down or make a mental note of them. But if you're watching the podcast, we're going to put the naps on the screen. And George, your nap of the weekend is...
My nap of the weekend is a bit of any other business. So I've got 2 of them. I'll just run through the other one first, if that's all right. The Silver Trophy at Chepstow, Take No Chances, was third in it last year off £10 lower as a progressive handicapper. But you've got to think her subsequent Grade 2 win at Ascot and brace of Group 1 thirds at the Cheltenham and Aintree Festivals proves she's a better horse now. She's well beat by Lossie Mouth on both those occasions, but at Cheltenham she was only a length and 3/4 behind Jade de Grugy, who ran out a 6.5 length winner of the Mayor's Champion Hurdle at Punchestown Festival on her next start. Anything close to that will see her placed at the least, and she's a ridiculous price. I think she's available at 33s. That'd be my each way bet of the whole weekend. And my nap is another bit of any other business. It's in the Rockingham Stakes, the 130 at York. Flowerhead is thrown in at the weights. I think she's £5 well in and upwards for the entire field. Should be favourite just on the strength of that. But the disappointment in Group 3 company last time is probably keeping her price up for us. But that was her first go on soft ground, and given her excellent efforts in the Queen Mary and the Princess Margaret, we have to assume it was the ground last time rather than the grade. So that also going to be my nap. Next best will be New Zealand in the Zetland, the 150 at Newmarket.
I'm going to have to do another multiple bet this weekend.
Sorry, the 225.
That's okay. I'm going to have to do another multiple bet this weekend, and it's going to have to include Dawn Rising and George Gorman's nap Flowerhead, because that was a compelling argument that you just made. Peter Michael, your nap of the weekend is...
Erzincan in the 205 at York. I'm going to go with him. I think he'll take a good bit of beating if that race doesn't come too soon for him. I'd give for other horses that I think would be worth a bet. Spice, I think, is a decent each-way bet. I think it's the 150. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. And maybe Burley Bay in the Cesarewitch has a small chance as well in competitive handicap. But Erzincan for me.
Surely this is the weekend. Tom Mark, we love Ray Dawson. Ray Dawson's a class jockey and he's had a fantastic season. But Tom Marquand getting to ride him for the first time. The gamble has already begun. We're about to announce the winners of Peter Michael's competition as well, by the way, so stay tuned for that as well. Before we get to Andy the Nap Newton, I don't know why, because you already know who his nap is, but my nap is obviously Zavateri. 3-1, about an unbeaten multiple group race winner, the first horse since Ivawood to win the July Stakes on the back of one running, the first horse since Olympic Glory to win the Vintage Stakes carrying a penalty, and coming from off the pace on a speed-favouring track at the Curragh and nailing the horse who won the Coventry Stakes, who was second, giving race fitness and weight to Venetian Sun in a Group 1 in France. And he beat him with the Coolmore team, extremely confident that Gstaad only had to turn up and was going to win that race. And they were very bullish of a big run from Italy. Well, they got a big run from both. And Zavateri took him, and he had their dinner afterwards too. Well, he'll do it all again. He'll thrash both of them, and he'll take your Distant Storm, and he'll take the rest of them, and he'll win the Guineas. 14 to 1 for the 2,000 guineas and 3 to 1 for the Dewhurst. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And even if he gets beaten, he's had an incredible season. He's given us a lot of fun, and the dream will still be alive for the guineas next year. But 3 to 1? Thanks. I will do a lucky 63 on, where did we put it? Zavateri, Enzinjan, Belgravian, Straight Up, Del Maro, Gladius. So Gladius in the 115, 4 to 1. Del Maro is 11 to 1. Straight Up is 100 to 30. Belgravian is 9 to 1. Erzincan 7 to 2. Zavateri is the banker of that leg, 3 to 1. And the Andy the Nap Newton banker of the weekend for confirmation is
Dawn Rising in the Cesarewitch. We're going for the Andy Alton double because obviously we had the Cambridgeshire winner, and look, maybe a little saver on that Caprello, the Huey Morrison one, for reasons that we stated. But look, Dawn Rising, it was 6 last year, £7 better off, and the money's already coming. Oisin Murphy's been booked to ride. Endorsement we like in the 150 as well. That's probably the next best. And now I've seen that the claimers on that Corker, I think that 315 at York, Corker and Stripe Red, some kind of like Dutching sort of play, like, split stakes on those two, Stripe Red and Corker, the sort of next best, if there's such a thing.
Odds compilers at 1xBet, just get it ready. Just get the funds ready. Have the payouts ready. Instant express payouts to all the Final Furlong podcast army who get stuck into Dawn Rising. Express payouts immediately at 1xbet.ie. Andy, best of luck. I'm going to have to back Dawn Rising. I didn't fancy him before, but I fancy him now. Sometimes you do hours studying the weekend racing, and then you just hear Andy Newton make a point, and you're like, well, I didn't really need to do that. I could have just listened to what Andy fancied and just gone blind. And that would have worked very, very well for you over the last few months. So hopefully it continues. Peter Michael, last week we did an extraordinary competition. I say it's extraordinary because it was the Final Furlong podcast 1xBet handicap at the Curragh. On Arc weekend, Peter Michael's nap of the weekend, his best bet of the entire weekend, ran in that race. The horse won at 12 to 1.
Thank you. That's how we roll. You sponsor the race, I nap the winner.
Daniel McLaughlin is the winning trainer. Well done, Daniel. That, by the way, means that Daniel McLaughlin currently is the joint leader of the 1xBet series. And the 1xBet series is 10 races sponsored at the Curragh from now until the end of the season. The winning stable will be eligible for a draw for your own stable. You'll have to do a draw amongst your stable staff. Whoever you pick out and win gets a trip to Paris to go see Paris Saint-Germain play a home game. Paris Saint-Germain are the official, 1xBet are the official betting partner of Paris Saint-Germain. They're also the official betting partner of FC Barcelona. So there'll be more opportunities, hopefully, along the way for big prizes like that. So somebody, a trainer or a member of a stable, is going to win that incredible prize between now and the end of the season. And the best of luck to everybody who's there. You should be scanning down through the Curragh entries, looking for a 1xBet race and finding out, have you got a horse eligible that you think is going to be able to win? I'm sure Daniel's going to be doing that too with his team of 24 horses between now and the end of the season. So best luck to Daniel and best luck to everybody else who's eligible. And of course, we'll announce that between now and then. So we did a competition. If you could identify the winner of that race, you would be in a draw to win tickets. If you were the first one, if you were the only person to win and you picked the winner of that race, then you would win yourself a month's membership of Peter Michael's Telegram group. Well, it turns out quite a few people picked your horse because they followed you in blindly, Peter.
Yeah, I think there was 5 that picked it. They should have all just followed me, Emmet, and there would have been, because you got a lot of comments. You would have got about 50 or 60 winners. By the way, for napping the winner of the first race 1xBet was sponsored, should I not get a trip to go see Barcelona play? I think we need to have a word with them.
We can have a little chat with the 1xBet executives. We need to have a word. We can have a little chat.
Anyway, yeah. So I think there was 5 people that won. So the names are in here. So I'm going to pick one out very quickly. And the winner to join my group for 1 month is William Buick. I'm only messing. Look, what I'm going to do is there's 5 winners: Mark Young, CG Jenks, The Only Fish. I don't know who he or she is, but that's the name there. Simon Hutchings and Gavin Shorthall. Gavin's already in my group, so he'll be getting a free month. I'm going to give all of them the free month because for picking the winner.
Yeah.
So
wait, all 5 get a month? You're not going to pick one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they're supporters of the podcast. They're obviously, been watching your podcast for a while. So, and they followed me and picked the winner. So, all of them. So, I don't know, maybe they can contact you or contact me in X. They can contact me there in X and just give me a direct message and I'll get their details and I'll just tell them the details for the month for, from when it starts to when it finishes and we'll go from there. I don't like this. Can you zoom out of me there, please? I hate being on camera. Thank you. So just do that and they contact me, or if they can't contact me, if they're not on X, they can contact us on the comment section of this episode, of this podcast. And then for anyone else who is not in my group, I'm looking for more members. It's just over £1 a day. And we're going for 4 months profit on the bounce down. We've been banging in the winners from 22-1 to lows 2-1, 14, 16. And we should have had ours in Jan at 28-1 as well.
Oh,
so
we
really need more people to join us. Yeah. So anyone just drop me a line on X and direct message or on Facebook, Peter Michael Racing, you'll find me there. Send me a message and I'll give you all the details needed to join. I'm sure a lot of people that watch this podcast, love racing and don't have the time to put in the work. So that's what I get paid for, to put in the work for you and find you value bets.
Was it yesterday or the day before that you had another double figure?
Yesterday we had Mawood. 11-1. To be honest, September was going pretty bad, but I turned it around and I was very happy to do that. So we've had a lot of winners from the last week of September to now. So the form is good. So, between the last week of September now, we're over 50 points in profit, but we were a good bit down before that in September. But as I said, we're going for 4 months in the bounce now to make a profit. So hopefully I can guide the ship that way.
Good man, Peter Michael. Good man. I should have looked at this beforehand, but of course I'm a dum-dum, so why would I do that?
That's what my daughter calls me, dum-dum.
Complete dum-dum. We had 170 comments on that episode last week. So 5 of you got it right, and that's very kind of Peter Michael to admit all 5 of you to his Telegram group. So if you're on X, you can message Peter. You can follow him at Peter Michael Racing on X. If you're not, make a comment in the YouTube section, in the comment section of this video, and I'm sure we'll figure out a way to get in touch with you through email or whatever. But that's really, really sound of Peter, and obviously he continues to be in fantastic form. So at Peter Michael Racing on X to find out more. We've got more podcasts coming your way very, very quickly and very, very soon. Josh Apiafi joins us for a special on Saturday. Also on Saturday, Tom Malone will be here to set the scene for the new jump season. He's got a lot of potential black type superstars. I think we said on one of the YouTube thumbnails, is this going to be Brave Man's Game 2.0? There's a horse he's extremely excited about who he is backed at 40-1 for the Supreme Novice Hurdle. You'll hear all about it Saturday. It's a really interesting conversation. I love talking with Tom, and hopefully we'll have him back on the show between now and the next, for the jump season. I can't use my mouth words anymore. I'm extremely tired after a long day. That's what it does. Talking into a microphone exhausts me. Some people do manual labor and, I don't know, maybe they run marathons and look after horses all day, like George Gorman does. Real work, real man's work, and still has the energy to keep going and have a big night out as well. I'm exhausted and fit for bed. But thank you for your support of the show. It means a lot to us. If you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do so. There's loads of podcasts coming your way. Hopefully you'll like them. If you haven't smashed the like button on this episode, smash it now. It's a huge help to us with the algorithm. Andy Newton's excellent content on sportscasting is available for you, and of course the brilliant Trainer Codes website as well. George will be doing his selections for Saturday, which you should be getting for yourself all for free at George F. Gorman on X. An essential follow, and one of the best analysts in the business, and of course Peter Michael with some sensational info for you as well. We're going to break down the racing for you on Monday with our usual weekend review. We'll take a look at some of the big stories from the Tattersall sales. I don't remember Carl Burke buying a horse for £1 million, but he's done it today, such as the incredible season he's been having. And there's been some fireworks at the Tattersall sales from Sheikh Mohammed, and of course from our friend Kia Jabrakan, who it turns out listens to the show. Listen to a few episodes anyway. From George Gorman, Andy Newton, Peter Michael, and me, Emmet Kennedy, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Stock Sport 2, Daryl Jacob and myself on air for Chepstow and Newmarket tomorrow. Make sure you check out that from 1 p.m. Best of luck to you with your bets. If you still have time to hear the Friday preview, some great analysis for Friday's racing from George, Liam, Adam, myself, and who else is on that episode? George, Liam, Adam, and Andy the Nap Newton's on that one, and he's in great form. Andy
You
the Nap
must really
Newton.
be tired.
Oh, I'm so tired. I am so tired, and I'm pretty sure I'm coming down with the flu as well. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Look after yourself and each other. God bless.
Thanks for spending some time with us on the Final Furlong podcast. We're independent media, so if you like what we do, hit like, share, and subscribe. It's free, it's quick, and it genuinely helps. And if you enjoyed this episode, there's plenty more where that came from. Don't miss out. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major platforms, and join us on the gravy train. The Final Furlong podcast, independent, unfiltered, and powered by you.